So this is recurring orders. This is one of our most requested features, the number one most requested feature, in fact, in user voice. So this is a very exciting thing that we're finally able to say it's here and it's ready to be used, which is great, right? So I'll walk you through it here really quick. We have this is the area here. You can see that it's in the menu as well. That's how you navigate into it. You can start creating your new order anytime you want. So this is kind of a great feature. You don't have to necessarily purchase to create an order. You can create an order whenever you want, whenever it makes sense to the users. It gives them a lot of flexibility. It's something that is pretty unique when you see this type of feature out there in the wild in general. So to create something, it's very, very simple. We just go in here, add a name to it. In here, we have our requested delivery date. So this is basically when I want, as the user, right, as the storefront user, this is when I want this product to show up on my door, my front door, my business front door, whatever it is. When we look in here, you'll notice that that there's some dates that aren't accessible, right? So the first data that I have available to me is the 5th. The reason for that is because you're going to need to source these items. You're going to need to be able to ship these items. And so that's going to depend depending on your industry. Some products are very easily gotten. 1 or 2 days might be enough in your particular industry. In other industries, you might need 2 weeks before you can actually get a product in. So you need that little bit of a buffer zone between when they create one of these and when that order needs to show up at their door. So that's a setting that we'll show you here in a few minutes, and that's where it comes from. The next thing is the ability to set your your frequency. Do I want this to happen every 4 days? Do I want to happen every week, every month? For us, we'll just say we want to happen once a month. In here, you'll notice here that we try to explain to the user exactly what's happening. Sometimes these kind of features here, they're good for the system, for the application, but they're not necessarily that intuitive for the user. So we're trying to explain it here. Over here on the right-hand side, this also is an indicator for when that product is going to show up and the next 5 expected delivery dates. Again, giving kind of more reinforcement to the user to give them that comfort that, what's going to happen, and how often. So we're going to go ahead and save that and move into here. And this is where we get into the meat of the configuration. So down here, you can see here, we can edit it. We can come in here, choose, of course, from our existing addresses. We can customize those addresses, and all the normal address restrictions and things like that you're familiar with still exist here. So once we have that, then we can come down to our order, our products area. So in this particular case, I'm going to say, I want my A4 paper, to show up, say, once a month. This might be a pallet of paper. I might need multiple different quantities. And how about some toner as well, right? Something I'm constantly running out of in my business. So I'm just going to grab a toner here as well. You can see here that they're giving indications of pricing and quantity and pack size. So again, more indicators for the users. And down here, we're going to add our payment method. Now, this is a payment method that's, you're going to need a lot of different options here, right? Sometimes you're just want to have your saved cards. So this is a saved credit card that this user has, or they might just say, nope, choose to whack it against my account, right? So all the same payment methods that you're restricted to or you're allowed to see are going to be in here. You'll notice down here that there's a little bit of a note here. And really what this is about is, this is all about orders that happen in the future, right? So what you need to be able to do is you need to know that you need to have that flexibility of taxes could potentially change, deliveries could change, and of course pricing. So every time one of these orders comes and gets created into the future, a month from now, 2 months from now, whatever the case may be, that order is going to go through a validation process, right? And it's quite a complex validation process. It's going to be dependent on your ERP integration. It's also going to be dependent on EvolutionX's functionality that you have stored on your store, that you've configured for your store. And so we go through those validation steps, including checking, is the price correct? Does these individuals have the ability to see these products? Are these the correct taxes? And then produces the order on the back of that. And then here, once orders are created, we'll see the order history. So it's as simple as that to set these up, which is great. You can enable them, you can pause them. If we jump back to our recurring order here, you can see that I have some paused, some active, which is a great feature. Very easy for them to go in and pause these for any length of time. Just so you know how quick and easy that is, right? So It's that quick and easy to create orders. So how does this all come together, right? So let's jump into the admin. So in the admin, it all starts here in the order settings area. So this is the recurring orders setting. So this kind of turns it on. So this feature, Shame's kind of covered a little bit of this on other features. We do this a lot. It's kind of our 80-20 rule. So sometimes in your store, you're going to want to turn a feature on for 80-90% of your customers. And sometimes you're going to want to turn it off for 80 or 90% of your customers. And then you'll handle the 10 or 20% on an individual basis. And to do that, of course, I'll show you here in a minute. This is that setting, that buffer zone between when an order is actually created and when it needs to get delivered. So you can set 5 days, 4 days, whatever the case works for your industry. So if you turn it on, I have this ability to set on an individual account level, whether it's inheriting from the store. So that'll be the default. That's what everybody has. And then let's say for this particular account, I actually want it off, right? So I can set it off for just this account where it's on for that other 90%, or I can set it on if the opposite might be true. So again, a lot of flexibility there to just make life a little bit easier for you to configure. The next step is, of course, the ability to see and action, this recurring orders, right? Not all of the customers are going to be allowed to do this. Not all the users inside of those customers are going to be able to. So again, we have the ability to turn this on and off at a role level. So if we jump back in here, we have a new recurring orders section that you see here. And in the recurring orders section, you get to see kind of your history of everything that's, that's been set up. I can see here my most recent one that I created. You can click into view these to turn them on, turn them off, and create orders from them. So occasionally you're going to be in a situation where the order hasn't come due, but maybe your customer calls you up and says, hey, I have this recurring order and, I need it a week early, right? Can you go ahead and just process that, right? So this will go through all normal validations that we're going to do when we're creating this order. You're like, look, I've already validated this. I know it's fine. Just create the order. So you have that choice as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and send it into the processing. And so that queues it up for processing. It can take a few minutes for that to happen. But once that happens, then it's going to create an order on the back of that. And you can see already I have my order created for Sam Altman here. And I'm ready for normal processing. Again, from the perspective of the system, this is a normal order that's coming through. And the only difference is the requested delivery date, which we can show to your customer. And then to kind of wrap it all up, right? The last thing you're going to want to be able to do is, of course, what about existing orders, right? I created an order already. Maybe I have some cool orders in here that I've already done. I don't want to recreate those. So, of course, in here, you can see here that we allow you to create a recurring order from an existing order that you had in your system.